Good morning everyone. It's me Chandakla here. In last class we have seen some basic things about measurement and units. So this class we will start from kinds of units. As in the last class we have seen that unit is that standard quantity with helpers in the measurement or with the help of which actually we are measuring. They are known as units. Some examples also we have seen, and now we will see kinds of units. So there are two types of units. The first one is fundamental, which are also known as basic units. Basic units. As the name indicates, fundamental and basic, that means they are having their independent existence. They do not depend on other units for their own existence, or they are not related with other units. They obviously then they will not be changed according to other units because they are having their independent existence. They are known as fundamental units. That means those units which are independent of other units or which are not related with other units. However, we can relate other units with fundamental units. Not related with other units, or they do not change themselves according to other units, because actually they are having their independent existence. So obviously then they will not depend or they will not change according to other units. They are known as fundamental or basic units. Some examples are given here, that is length, mass, time. These are known as fundamental units. A lot of fundamental units are here. Not a lot actually, some means countable only. So we have to learn all these fundamental units, because our another type of unit, that is derived unit, we will derive those units with the help of fundamental units. So obviously then first we should know what are fundamental units. That means which physical quantities are fundamental. Then with the help of those fundamental units we will derive derived units. Okay, so these are known as fundamental units. And the second one is derived units. As the name indicates, derived means they have been derived from fundamental units. They have came out from fundamental units. So obviously then they will depend on fundamental units. So derived units are those units which depends on basic or fundamental units, which are not independent. They will depend on basic and fundamental units because they will be derived from, you can say, they have been derived from basic or fundamental units. They are known as derived units. For example, here we have seen only 3 fundamental units. Rest of the units we will see right now. So suppose here we are writing speed. Speed is equal to distance upon time. This we already know. That means how much distance is covered in per unit time is known as the speed of that particular vehicle. So the first thing is, if we want to derive the unit, we must know formula for that particular unit, for that particular physical quantity. Without this formula we won't be able to derive a unit for this speed. Now it is distance. Distance is nothing but length, and time is time, and we have kept this length and time both under the category of basic units. That means actually this distance and time, they both are basic or fundamental units. And since we will derive unit for speed with the help of basic units, so the unit which we will get for this speed, that will be derived unit. The unit which we will get for this speed will be derived unit, because that has been derived from basic units, and those units which have been derived from basic units are known as derived units. Now for fundamental quantities, this we have seen. For distance or length, the SI system, the unit is meter, and for time it will be second. So therefore the derived unit in SI system for speed will be meter per second. Likewise, we will derive units of some physical quantities with the help of basic units. But first of all, we should know what are the basic units. Then only we will be able to derive fundamental units. So we will learn a table 4 basic units. Okay, so in table we will write physical quantity and unit. This table we have to memorize as it is. Without that we won't be able to derive the units, and now we will have to derive the units because in physics you will learn a lot of physical quantities, and obviously you cannot memorize everything. That means all the units, and then we will have a lot of constants also in physics. So as much as possible we will make our work easy. Okay, so we will learn some physical quantities. Initially only three basic units or fundamental units were derived, or you can say were found, or were categorized under the category of fundamental units, and they were length, mass and time. Length, mass and time. That means initially actually we thought that with the help of these three physical quantities we can actually derive all the units. This was the thought when most of the physical quantities were not found at that time. So we said that there are only just three physical quantities which are fundamental. That means fundamental units are three. For length we said it as meter, and for mass we said it as kilogram. It is written as m, kilogram, and for time it is second. Okay, these are actually SI system. We will see the system of units, but right now we just have to remember these physical quantities and their units, so that we can recognize that this is the derived unit because it has been derived from the basic units. So first we should know the basic units. That's why we are learning. So first we learnt that there are only three basic units, that is meter, kilogram and second. But later when other physical quantities got found, at that time we experience a need of increasing these physical quantities. We came to know that actually with the help of these three quantities we cannot explain all the other physical quantities, so we have to add some more things in it. So later one by one we added some more things here, and that was temperature, luminous intensity, then electric current, which is simply known as current, electric current, and the last one was amount of substance. So temperature, you know temperature, the SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. For luminous intensity it is candela, which is represented by CD, and electric current it is ampere, and amount of substance it is mole. Okay, so then one by one it increased and reached to actually 7, that there are 7 basic or fundamental units. With the help of these 7 units we can derive rest of the units. Okay, so these all are mainly related with physics, and this is also, I'm not saying it's not related with physics because it is related with measurement, but it's more favorite for chemistry. It is same mole which you have learnt mole concept in the chemistry. So same mole is this amount of substance. Okay, temperature you know, electric current you know, basic things you have already learnt about current. Okay, rate of charge of flow is known as current. Only one new word we are having here, that is luminous intensity. So actually right now intensities will be defined on the type of energies with respect to which actually we are defining the quantity. So right now we will not go very deep, but surfacely we will see what is intensity. Okay, so actually intensity is power per unit area. That means if you are talking about light, then you will say how much light energy is falling. Actually, because we know power is equal to you can say energy per unit time or work done per unit time. So actually we can relate this energy and power. So if the light is coming, you know that light is also a form of energy. Okay, so that means if how much light is falling in a unit time, how much light energy is falling in a unit time on per unit area, intensity is power per unit area. That means, and we know the SI unit of area will be meter square. So that means on 1 meter square, how much power of that light energy is falling on 1 meter area. Okay, and power means actually energy per unit time. That means how much light energy is falling on 1 meter square area in 1 second. How much energy or light energy is falling on 1 meter square area in 1 second. That is known as intensity. If you are talking about heat, then you will say how much heat energy is falling on per unit area in per second. So this is known as intensity. In simple words, you can say actually energy of that particular thing. How much energy we are getting in per unit time on per unit area, that is our intensity. However, we will see about it in detail later in our next chapters. So these are our fundamental units, but along with this we have two complementary units also. Means we will not frequently use them, or we will not frequently need them, but we may need them. So for that also we have kept two things. One is actually angle and one is solid angle. These are nothing, same which you have learnt in your maths, same. So this is radian, as you already know that angle is measured in radian, and this is steradian. Okay, I hope you know difference between angle and solid angle. This will be in 2D, this will be in 3D, as you have learnt in maths. So for us right now, the most important thing is we must learn actually this table. We should know these are the physical quantities, what are the basic physical quantities and what are their units. Okay, see here one more thing is there. Here meter, this is spelling METRE. Somewhere in some books you may get it METER, so please don't get confused. This is that same question of UK, US. You know, English has a lot of variations, so don't just get confused if you are getting somewhere ER instead of RE. That's okay. Our next topic is system of units. That means first we will discuss, there are three system of units given. The first one is CGS, second one is FPS, and third one is MKS. These are three system of units which we use for measurements. Okay, so to understand this, first we have to see the full form. For C it is centimeter, for G it is gram, and for S means second. Similarly, it is foot, it is pound, and it is second. Then it is meter, this is kilogram, and this is second. Okay, so you see, first of all, in our daily life we have experienced that sometimes we are measuring the distance or length in centimeters, sometimes meters, sometimes even in kilometers, sometimes we reach up to light year. Okay, that means what is this? Actually it depends on the amount of that particular physical quantity. Obviously if the amount of that quantity will be more, then we will need a larger unit. For example, if you have to measure length of a line segment, then obviously you will measure it in centimeter, because this is a small distance, or you can say small length, so you can measure it with the help of a scale. That's okay. But so here you are measuring it in centimeter, suppose 2 centimeter. Okay, but if you have to measure distance between two cities, for example Jaipur and Delhi, then what will you do? Can you measure that in centimeter, or will you sit for measuring it in meters? That's not possible, because if you will do like that, it's not impossible, but the problem is your numerical value will be very large, and then calculations and all other things will become very difficult. So what is the easy method? If your quantity is very large, then you can use a bigger unit. That is the easy way. So on that basis we are having three system of units. One is CGS, one is FPS, and one is MKS. Nowadays this system is not used at all. Ancient times it was used. Now we are not using this one. For now we are having two important system of units. One is CGS, which is mainly used in chemistry. I'm not saying that you cannot use it in physics, but the fact is in chemistry we need to measure the things in small quantity. For example, if you are carrying out any experiment, suppose you have to make a solution of salt and water for an experiment, then obviously you will take a test tube and you will put some water in it, that means in a very less amount, and some salt. obviously you will not fill a bucket full of water and you will not put in 2 or 3 kilograms of salt in it to make the solution, because what will you do with that much solution? You have to just carry out an experiment, na? So for that you will need sufficient, means a small quantity. So generally CGS is used in chemistry, you will get it mainly in chemistry, and in our physics we mainly works with MKS system, which is now modified as SI system of units, international system of units. That means we have done some modification in MKS system and given a new name, that is the SI system. In physics we work mainly in SI system. Okay, wherever we need we will go for CGS also, it's not any compulsory condition, but in physics we have to measure small things, and similarly sometimes we have to go for a very large unit. For example, you may have to measure the mass of any particular heavenly body, or you have to measure distance between two heavenly bodies. In that condition obviously you are not going to use centimeter, na, at least. So in that way we can use MKS, means generally in physics we deal with MKS system, which is also known as SI system. So these are actually the system of units. Now some prefix are actually used here, so let me cover, since it is a small topic, so in this topic only, that means this class only, we will cover it. Prefix means obviously, as the name indicates, pre means previously, that means before our unit if we are putting something, that is prefix. Okay, so sometimes, as I said, sometimes you may need to measure a quantity in small amount, sometimes you have to measure a quantity in large amount. So sometimes, suppose this is the SI system meter, which is used for length, but sometimes you will need its smaller units also, sometimes you will need its larger units also. For example, you can say kilometer, for example you can say centimeter. That means you can measure something in centimeter, you can measure something in kilometer. We know that kilometer is greater than meter and centimeter is smaller than meter. Later you can go for millimeter, something like that, we will see right now. Okay, but here the concept is sometimes we need to reduce this value, that means we want a smaller unit, and sometimes we want a larger units. So for that in your book 2 tables are given. So if you can memorize all the full 2 tables, it's well and good. Otherwise some, at least some we have to remember anyhow. So right now for larger units we use some prefix, that is mainly we will learn at least 3, means at least 3 we should know in any condition, that is kilo, and second one is mega, and third one is giga. Okay, so kilo means obviously 10 raised to power 3, you are familiar with it from 3rd class 4th class itself, and mega means 10 raised to power 6, and giga means 10 raised to power 9. Similarly we are having some smaller units also, smaller than our this unit or this unit. So we are having some smaller units also. Here also at least we have to remember 3, 4 or 5, and if you are able to remember, you can remember all the table also. So at least some, for example centi, and then milli, and then nano, micro also we have to use, at least this much we have to remember, micro and then nano. Okay, so milli means 10 raised to power minus 3, and micro means 10 raised to power minus 6, and nano means 10 raised to power minus 9, and centi is your favorite. You know relation between meter and centimeter, we have taken this as basic, so it is 10 raised to power minus 2. Now see, these are larger units, that means if you are talking about meter, suppose, then if you will put kilo before meter, then it will become kilometer. And we know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters, and 1000 means 10 raised to power 3. This is the meaning of 10 raised to power 3 only, na? That is 1000. After 1 we should have 3 zeros. That is the meaning of 10 raised to power 3. So simply also we know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. So how actually it is coming? It is coming with due to the help, or due to, or because of this kilo only, because kilo is a prefix which always add 10 raised to power 3 to the quantity. If you are talking it about meter, then it will be meter. If you are putting it before gram, then it will be kilogram, as you wish. So wherever we want we can use it. If we want still a larger unit, then we will use 10 raised to power 6, that is mega, otherwise giga. more units are also given, but at least these three we must remember. Without that we won't be able to work. And smaller units means centi, we already know. If you will say let it be meter, then we know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, or you can say 100 centimeter is equal to, let me write here 4 more, or otherwise let me use here, we know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, or you can say 100 centimeter is equal to 1 meter, or 1 centimeter is equal to 1 upon 100 meter, which is equal to 1 upon 10 raised to power 2 meter, which is known as 1 10 raised, if you will take it to denominator, it will be minus 2 meter. So from there only we are getting this. So we already know centi is equal to 10 raised to power minus 2, milli is equal to minus 3, micro is equal to minus 6, and nano is equal to 10 raised to power minus 9. Rest of the things we will see in next class. Thank you.